So hello everybody. Thank you, Generator, for having me here. Thank you for the invitation. I came yesterday like 2 days ago, from Maryland. And I want to talk today, that's something that it sounds like very, very cool, but it's a problem of people at the end of the day. It's not a problem of AI. It's not a problem of technology. It's a problem when you don't communicate correctly. It's when you want to have a good business and you are on one side as a startup trying to convince a corporation, and the corporation on the other side is trying to understand what you do. And if this technology you have, it is something that we can really use. It sounds like very basic. Sounds like you don't need too much technology or rocket science to solve it. But the thing is, it's a huge problem. It's a problem that for startups, don't give you the opportunity to sell more or to connect or to do a good partnership with a corporation. And if you are a corporation, you are not going to have maybe more innovation coming constantly to work with you. That's one of the things that I want to talk to you today. And I just have like 4 slides, no more than that, just to give you the idea of what I think we can do in order to improve this. So, corporations spend billions, but the thing is, few pilots result. And when I'm talking about pilots, I'm just talking about a fancy way to say to prove the technology, to prove how it's worked together. Today, on the space, just around 20%, 50% of the pilots works in a corporation. That's very low. Corporations are huge, has a lot of things, have a lot of budgets, financial teams, IT teams, they have a lot of things to use. So why? Why just 20%? Why just 15% in some cases? It's not about money. You can set up a pilot for no more than 30K, 3-4 months. It's not about the money. It's about other things. So you have a couple of options here. Either you want to try with the startups inside of your corporation and to see how we can add this new technology or this new business to the core business that is traditionally called as corporate venturing, which is a funny and a fancy word to call it. Or you can do it the other way. You can do it more like in the style client venturing, working with the startup, bringing the startup to work with you and test it. Just go, set a contract, pay it to see what happens. And if it doesn't happen, well, next. That's the innovation field. So why is this problem? Why is billions spent, few results? Why? In my opinion, working in 3 different markets, Europe, Latin America, and USA, I see like 3 main problems in all those markets, no matter the budget, no matter how developed is the country or undeveloped. 3 things I see. Too much noise and hype. Yes, we love good events, we love to connect, that is perfect. But it's not the main focus of corporate venturing. If you want to work with a startup to innovate, it's because you see a real value in that. And that's the value of help the startup to scale up, to do a better business. And each one of you that are here, maybe you are a corporation, maybe you are a startup, maybe you woke up at night thinking about, wow, if I sell this to the meeting that I have tomorrow, that will be great. And you feel the vibe inside you. Yeah, because that happens. So corporations in general are focused on too much hype, too much social networks, too much dancing on TikTok. Okay, 5 minutes of that is good, but no more than that. That's one of the problems. The second problem and the pain, big corporations pay for insurance. When I say insurance, I'm not talking about a real insurance. I'm talking about you pay Boston Consulting Group, you pay McKinsey, you pay EY. And don't get me wrong, if you work there or if you have worked there, there's not a problem with those institutions. But they know how to dance ballroom. And innovation and corporate venture is more like salsa, you got to move like that. It's different. It's not one step. The third one, the pilots die. Why die? Because for the most simple reasons. You need a champion inside, you need leadership, you need communication, you need to be right there. And after all the hype of bring those startups, what happens? You start the work you got to do. You got to write emails. You got to go to meetings. Yeah, that is what happens. And sometimes that's the reason the pilots die. So what is my proposal? What do I do with my clients? I don't do like fireworks, nothing like that. I just focus on 3 things. And this is the things that I would love. If you want to take notes or write down, take a picture, whatever, this is the things that I think are most important. The first one, focus on fit. What does that mean? See if the solution that you're bringing on the table really helps you to solve a problem. All right? Corporations, if you're a startup and you think, why I can't sell? Because maybe you are not talking about the problem the corporation needs to solve. So the first one is fit. You have to find that. And if you are in a corporation, you need to solve a specific problem. It's not like, hey, you know, I want to be something super cool. No, it's not about that. It's about solving a CO2 emission problem, reducing cost problems, logistic problem, whatever the problem you have, that's one of the focus. The second one, client. And when I say client, it's to see the collaboration with the startups as a partnership. If it doesn't work, you change it. There's nothing wrong with that. You have to simplify maybe the contract. You have to simplify those kind of things. But that's the way you do it. It's a client-focused way of thinking. And if you have the experience, you can work as a corporate pilot, a corporate venturing, working with those. And I have worked with some corporations like that. When they have the muscle and the experience, it could be, you can get good results, sorry. And the third one, think on impact. I know impact, it's a word that everybody uses now. But in your line of work, impact has to be like good metrics. If it's, changing something that what I'm doing, the problem that I'm trying to solve, I am closer to solve this problem, or is the same thing? Simple questions. Sometimes we have so many tools, so many things out there that we forget that in order to have a good corporate venture or corporate clienting, you need to get focused, on these 3 things. Fit, client, and impact. And in my opinion, that is how you can go from hype to runs. Because, we are in a baseball stadium, so that's the way you can get results, score 3 points or make some goals if you play soccer. I'm not saying that it's going to take you 5 minutes. I'm not talking about here like super fast, just download an app and you're going to do it. No, that is not my thing here. It is complicated. We are in a complicated and a complex business that requires 2 different skills. But in terms of corporate venturing and corporate client, I'm bringing a startup to the table. You as a startup, as a corporation, fit, client, and impact, in my opinion, is the key to solve that problem. Thank you so much for your time. And if you want to talk about this or you want to collaborate and do business, I open for a conversation. Thank you so much, Generator.